It's hitting the friggin' coilover. I was afraid of this. These little pieces of metal that were on the NC Miata. The tire rubbed right through it. Welcome back everybody to the S2000 build. Today we're gonna be doing the sway bar and all the bits that goes with it. So we've got new sway bar bushings right here because this is a different diameter. If you guys saw the last video, this is an NC Miata sway bar. So these are different size bushings for this. And then I have Whiteline rear sway bar end links. And then the NC Miata sway bar itself. I've been painting this last few days. I'll put in all the footage of that here probably. What's going on everybody today? We're gonna be sanding down the NC Miata front sway bar that I'm going to be putting in the rear of my S2000. So you have to run a little different size bushings and obviously different sway bar end links. So first thing I got to do is take the sway bar end links off of this. Then I'm going to sand it down, prime it, and paint it. Over here we got Ethan in the really fully professional paint booth.
Heating it up in his cold ass garage.
He's heating up his subframe for his build. He primered it last week and put some paint down on it today. And this is a very fancy paint booth that I'll be painting my sway bar in as well. It's a new day. We're gonna get back to work on the sway bar build. I hit it with the sanding wheel with my Milwaukee gun. Got most of the heavy rust off. Now I'm gonna hit it with some Scotch-Brite, and then I've got clean metal primer and some random red metallic gloss paint that I found at Home Depot. And yeah, so let's get to it. I got my makeshift paint booth set up. Really professional, but hey, whatever works. I just wiped the sway bar down with a wet rag, and then I wiped it down with a dry rag, so it's clean. I'm gonna bring it inside and put it in front of my pellet stove for like 5-10 minutes just to warm it up, and then hit it with the first coat of clean metal primer. This is 2 coats on the NC Miata sway bar. So this is a front NC Miata sway bar that I'm putting in the rear of the S2000. So I think 2 coats of primer is good. It's not perfect. There's some spots. I don't care. It's gonna be under my car. But that was 2 coats of primer. So now I'm gonna do 2 or maybe 3 coats of red to match the Nolithane front sway bar that I bought. And when I bought it, they didn't tell me that it was out of order. So I was waiting weeks and weeks and weeks and got no shipping notification. Finally emailed them and they said, oh yeah, those are on back order. We're not gonna have a new shipment until April 15th. So I won't have my nice Gucci front sway bar until, who knows, maybe end of April. So I'm just painting this one to match it. You guys will see when I get the new one. I didn't film the second coat because my paint booth is so good that my overspray was getting on my GoPro. So I didn't film any more painting. I probably won't film any more painting until I get a little better paint booth set up. But we work with what we got here. My buddy Arrow showed up. We got a cameraman. Gonna give this thing a quick coat of red. Fucking do this shit. Sanded it, did 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of paint, and 2 coats of clear coat. It came out half decent if you ask me. I am not a painter, and I don't do body work, and I'm not really even a mechanic, so it's good by my standards. All right, so let's get into the car. This is the OEM S2000 rear sway bar that I took out, and I haven't even done this yet just to make sure that it's even close. But yeah, it's pretty close, so hopefully it works. I got these because I was told that there might be some clearance issues with this hitting the diff. So I got these to put hopefully under the bushings to pad it out a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's just a theory. We'll see what happens. See these two screws right here?
That's where it goes?
That's where, yeah, and then it comes, so it sits like this. I was afraid of this. These little pieces of metal that were on the NC Miata sway bar, I was hoping they weren't gonna interfere with where this is gonna have to mount, but it looks like they are. So I'm gonna have to try to maybe cut these off with an angle grinder because they look welded on. I'm not even sure. These little metal things, which I should have cut off before I painted it, are definitely in the way. So now I gotta try to cut them off now and not ruin the whole paint job, but it is what it is. No one's gonna ever see it anyways. So this thing, of course, is right where this bushing wants to be. And this isn't the right size for this, it's the right size for this. So I need to get these off so that this can sit nice where it needs to sit. So I do autocross, and it's supposed to help with handling and make the rear end a little bit more happy. Will it work? I don't know. At this point, the car was already up, the sway bar was already out, and I figured why not do it? That's pretty close. These fit on just right. They're gonna go somewhere about there. Now let's try to slide it in without damaging the paint any more than I already did. We had to change the hardware up a little bit. We needed some longer bolts up top to fit 2 of those metal square washers I had behind the bushing so that the sway bar didn't hit the differential bolt on the back. We've got just enough clearance now. So because it's out of a Miata and not an S2000, we had to do a little bit of ghetto rigging. So we need to open these things up about 1 inch. Is that what you said? Good job, cameraman. According to Google, the S2000 sway bar is supposed to be 3.5 inches center to center. For some reason, these don't even have 3.5 inches center to center, but they are supposed to be S2000 rear sway bar end links. So I went to about 2 3/4 because I didn't want to go any shorter or any longer because I didn't want any less threads. Hopefully, no problems. Oh wait, they go the other way. Yep, like this. It's hitting the friggin' coilover. Sway bar end link in because the coilover is in the way. And today we're also gonna replace these axles. So I'll just take this bolt out for now, move the strut forward, and we should be able to get the sway bar end link in. All right. I realized that if I put the sway bar end link in, it's gonna make it a whole lot harder to do the axles. So shifting gears a little bit, we're gonna get these old axles out and then we'll put the sway bar end links in when we put the new axles in. Told you at the beginning of the video, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just too cheap to pay somebody to do it. This is why I need ratchet wrenches. All right, now that we got all the axle bolts out, take out these axle spacers. Let the hub drop. Yep. Nice. It was nice here in Massachusetts for like 2 days. Now we're back to 30-degree weather. This is the one we just took out. All blown. This one is an O'Reilly Special. I don't even know what brand it is. And then this is the new one that we're gonna put in. This is the Insane Shaft 500 horsepower rated S2000 rear axle. One more piece of the puzzle is this rear ABS sensor. So I gotta put this in too. Almost forgot about this. So my old ones, because I'm running such big wheels, it rubbed right through to Behr copper. So I got these off of Ace Solutions Auto Parts in Chicago, off a part out. I'm just putting a little bit of grease on the splines make it go in a little easier so it doesn't fight us. I don't have any other grease, so I'm just using brake caliper grease, which probably isn't the right stuff, but work with what you got. Let's see how this goes. So I've got all the axle bolts in hand tight, and now I'm just tightening them down. I've got the axle in, I've got the axle spacers in. Now I'm just going one by one and tightening all the axle bolts. Torque to spec. So the axle's in, axle spacers are in, all the bolts are tight. Now I just gotta tighten down the axle nut. Now I just gotta tighten everything up, the upper ball joint, the lower coilover bolt, and put the sway bar end link in, and the ABS sensor. Of course, the bolts for the ABS sensor are not here, and I don't remember how this thing goes. So these are my original ABS wheel speed sensors. And as you can see, the tire rubbed right through it and just enough through this one as well. So I think the reason that happened is because I had Godspeed rear upper control arms before, and there's no 2 screws for this mounting bracket. So there's nothing that kept them nice and tight to the control arm. So they were just in the way of the tire. So I wasn't a big fan of these. I ended up sourcing new OEM upper control arms and had them powder coated with the rest of mine instead of putting these back on. So now I gotta find screws to mount the new one so that the same thing doesn't happen that happened with the old ones. That looks possibly promising. If you're a car guy and you don't have a box of loose bolts, are you really a car guy? That actually looks like it might be one. So this is the only way for me to reach the ABS connection in here. So if Mark, you could shine the light in here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's all the way back. All right, I got it. After much effort. So that's one side done. We are not going to torture you with having to watch the other side. It's gonna be all the same. So the next clip, the other side will be done. The new NC Miata sway bar in that I freshly painted and then destroyed the paint job trying to get it in. New bushings and my ghetto hack with the 2 spacers to get the sway bar pushed back just a little bit, because without them, it hits the diff bolts in the back. We got the new Whiteline sway bar end links installed, and we got our new 500 horsepower rated insane shaft axle installed as well. So since last time I drove the car, the control arm's been sandblasted and powder coated, spoon bushings, same thing with the lower control arm, except that's not a spoon bushing. I can't remember what bushing that is. It was a long time ago. Megan Racing, new sway bar end links, new axle. We're in good shape. I did order new coilovers. They're on the way. Unfortunately, there's a 2 to 3 month lead time. I don't know when those will be going in. All right, so that's both sides done. Sway bar end links, and new axles. So same thing over here as the other side. Got the new axle in, got the sway bar in, sway bar bushings, my ghetto hack, and the sway bar end links. So I actually had to put the sway bar end links on the inside instead of the outside, because when I tried to put them on the outside, it was hitting the back of the coilover. So I had to flip them around. I also have the ABS sensor installed, and we plugged it in the trunk. So now both ABS sensors are in, and that pretty much wraps it up for the rear end of the car. All that's left is the front. All right, well, that's a wrap for this video. In the next video, I'll do some front suspension stuff, the inner and the outer tie rods, the front sway bar end links. Actually, I can't do this one front sway bar end links because the front sway bar isn't gonna ship until April 15th. So I probably won't get that until the end of April. So I can't do the front sway bar stuff, but I can do the inner and outer tie rods, and I can do the ball joints that I need to do. I also need to get this lower supercharger pulley off. So I ordered a new one. I gotta get this one off to get the new one on, but these bolts, I put Loctite on them when I installed them like 4 years ago, and they're not budging. So I keep spraying them with PB Blaster every day, hoping that one day they're gonna budge. But all that will be in the next video or the next 2 videos. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. As I said last time, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just starting this YouTube video, so all the help is much appreciated. Thank you very much.